You know how it is with self-improvement advice? Sometimes it feels like you need to change everything at once.
Right. Yeah, it can get really overwhelming.
But today, let's talk about something a little different. Small habits.
Small habits. Yeah, those are a really fascinating way to think about change.
I'm intrigued, but also a little skeptical. I usually set big goals,
Yeah.
shoot for the moon type stuff. How can small changes really make a difference?
Well, think about it this way. If you improve just 1% every day,
What percent each day? Doesn't sound like much.
it doesn't, but because of this thing called compounding, that 1% adds up big time. After a year, you're 37 times better.
Whoa, 37 times better.
Huh.
I like the sound of that. I'm starting to see how this could be less about feeling overwhelmed and more about actually feeling empowered,
Yeah.
instead of focusing on this big, scary end goal.
Yeah, exactly. With small habits, it's all about the
The
process.
process. So
Oh,
instead of freaking out about losing 20 pounds, I could just focus on taking a walk every day.
precisely. And those consistent actions, they'll eventually lead to those bigger changes. It's like investing, right? You make small, regular contributions, and over time, you see big returns.
That's a good analogy. Okay, but how do these small habits actually work? Like in our brains?
They actually change your brain. It's pretty
Okay.
amazing. There's this thing called the habit loop.
Habit loop. I've heard
Yep.
of that.
It's basically how habits get formed and reinforced in our brains. You have a cue, which triggers the routine.
So like, let's say my cue is finishing my morning coffee.
Right. And then the routine could be something like meditating for 5 minutes.
And then the reward would be feeling more calm and focused.
Exactly. And the more you repeat that loop, the less effort it takes.
So you're basically rewiring your brain for success.
You got it.
I've always struggled with being consistent, though. This slow and steady thing sounds good in theory, but how do you avoid getting discouraged when you don't see results right away?
Well, that's the beauty of starting small. You're not making these huge changes that you can't keep up with.
Like instead of saying, I'm going to work out for an hour every day.
Yeah, that's way too much too fast. It's better to start with something like, I'll do 10 minutes of yoga after coffee.
Totally. Small steps.
And every time you complete that mini habit, it gives you a little boost of confidence. You're building momentum without burning yourself out.
Makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's not about the intensity. It's about showing up consistently.
Exactly. You're making it a part of your daily life.
All right, so how do we actually make these habits stick? What are the secrets?
Well, one of the biggest things is starting small. And I mean, really small.
How small are we talking?
So small, it almost seems silly. Like, if you want to write a book, don't start with a daily word count. Just commit to writing one sentence a day.
One sentence? That's it.
Yep. The goal is to make it so easy that you can't fail. When you get that win, even a tiny one, it makes you want to do it again.
Okay, so it's not about how much you do. It's about being consistent.
Absolutely. Consistency is key. Doing a little bit each day is way more effective than trying to do a ton all at once and then giving up.
So it's all about building that momentum slowly.
Yeah.
What else can we do to make these habits last?
Habit tracking is a really powerful tool. Use an app, a journal, anything that helps you visually see your progress.
I like that. It's like a reminder of how far you've come.
And it keeps you accountable.
Huh.
Another great trick is habit stacking.
Habit stacking. What's that?
It's basically connecting a new habit to one you already have. So let's say you brush your teeth every morning.
Yeah, I do that.
You could stack a new habit like flossing right after brushing.
Oh, that's smart. You're using an existing habit to help you build a new one.
Exactly. And over time, your brain starts to link those actions together, making it easier to stick with the new habit.
That makes sense. Are there any other strategies we should keep in mind?
Making the habit enjoyable is key. If you hate doing something, you're not going to stick with it.
So find ways to make it fun.
Right. Put on some music while you exercise. Treat yourself to something healthy after a walk. Find little ways to make it something you actually look forward to.
Good point. It shouldn't feel like a chore.
Another important tip. Don't try to change too much at once.
Easy does it right.
Start with one small habit and really focus on making it stick before adding more. It's easy to get overwhelmed if you try to do everything at once.
Yeah, one step at a time.
Be patient, celebrate your progress, and remember, change takes time.
Okay, I'm loving this.
Mm.
Let's brainstorm some ideas. Do you have any examples of small habits that can make a big difference in different areas of life?
Absolutely. Let's start with health. Something as simple as drinking an extra glass of water every day can do wonders for your energy levels, your digestion, even your skin.
I know I should drink more water, but I always forget. Do you have any tips?
Try keeping a water bottle with you at all times. You can also set reminders on your phone or use a habit tracking app.
Good ideas. What about other health habits?
Taking a short walk after meals is a great way to help with digestion, and it can also boost your mood. Even 5 or 10 minutes makes a
I
difference.
like that. It's a way to get some movement in without having to do a full workout.
And speaking of exercise, even if you don't have time for a long workout, try to incorporate little bursts of activity throughout the day. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Do some stretches while you're watching TV.
Those are great tips. I definitely
Yeah.
need to move more. What about eating healthier?
Instead of trying to change your whole diet overnight, focus on one small change at a time, like adding an extra serving of vegetables to your meals or switching from soda to water.
Small changes that can really add up.
Exactly. And don't forget about sleep. Even adding just 10 minutes to your sleep schedule can make a big difference.
More sleep. I'm always up for that. But sometimes it feels impossible to squeeze in those extra minutes.
I know it can be tough. But those 10 minutes can be the difference between waking up feeling groggy and waking up feeling refreshed. It's worth experimenting to see how it impacts your day.
All right, you've convinced me. Time to set a bedtime reminder. Okay, we've talked about health. What about productivity? Any small habits that can help us get more done?
One of my favorites is taking a few minutes each morning to write down the top 3 things you want to accomplish that day. It helps you prioritize and stay focused.
That's a good one. I tend to get distracted by all the little things, and then I run out of time for the important stuff.
It's all about prioritizing. Another helpful habit is to declutter your workspace for just 5 minutes at the end of the day.
Oh, I love that. I always feel so much better when my desk is clean.
A clean space can do wonders for your focus. And here's another one that can have a big impact. Dedicate 10 minutes each day to learning something new.
Like reading an article or listening to a podcast.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a lot, but that consistent exposure to new information can really make a difference over time.
You're making me realize that a lot of the things I've been putting off because I thought I didn't have time are actually totally doable if I just break them down into smaller chunks.
Exactly. It's all about shifting your mindset. Now, how about personal growth? What are some small habits that can help us become better versions of ourselves?
Ooh, I'm really interested in that one.
A simple but powerful habit is to journal for a few minutes each evening. It's a great way to reflect on your day, process your thoughts and emotions, and gain clarity.
I've tried journaling before, but I could never stick with it.
Start with just 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a big commitment. Another great habit is to practice mindfulness or deep breathing for a few minutes each day.
I love deep breathing. It's amazing how much it can calm me down.
It's a simple but effective way to reduce stress. And here's one that I think is really special. Make it a habit to send a kind message or compliment to someone each day.
Oh, I like that. Spreading a little positivity.
It's a small act of kindness that can make someone's day, and it can also boost your own mood. Okay, let's talk about relationships. Small habits can make a big difference in strengthening our bonds with the people we care about.
Relationships are so important.
One habit that can really help is to spend at least 5 minutes of truly present, undistracted time with a loved one each day. Put away your phones, turn off the TV, and just focus on connecting.
That's such good advice. It's so easy to get caught up in everything else and forget to just be present with the people we love.
It takes effort, but it's worth it. Another small habit is to make it a point to check in with a friend or family member at least once a day, even if it's just a quick text or call.
I need to be better about that. I'm going to make a conscious effort to reach out more.
And finally, don't underestimate the power of expressing gratitude. Take a moment each day to appreciate the people in your life and let them know how much they mean to you.
These are all fantastic ideas.
Mm.
I'm feeling really inspired to start implementing some of these habits into my own life. So we've talked about starting small, but how do we know when it's time to level up?
That's a great question. It's all about listening to yourself.
Hmm.
If you're consistently finding the habit easy to complete and you're feeling motivated to do more, that's a sign that you're ready to increase the intensity or duration.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between challenge and ease.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a race. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and remember, even the smallest actions can create a ripple effect that transforms your life.
This has been such a great conversation. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools for creating positive change. And I think our listeners are going to feel the same way.
I hope so. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress.
Progress, not perfection.
There will be days when you slip up. It's okay. Just get back on track and keep moving forward.
Thinking about all this, you know what strikes me? It's like small habits are really about a mindset shift.
Yeah, definitely. It's about realizing you don't have to wait for the perfect moment to start making changes. You can just start now.
Right now,
Yeah.
even with something small. And it makes me think about the compound effect we talked about.
Absolutely. Those small, consistent actions can lead to huge
It's
transformations.
like this ripple effect.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that it works for so many different things.
Exactly. We've talked about health, productivity, personal growth relationships, but honestly, the possibilities are endless.
Right? It could be learning a new language, starting a creative project, even just making your bed every morning. It's about taking those small steps that align with your goals.
And your values. It's like weaving a tapestry. Each small habit, each thread contributes to the beauty of the final product.
Love that analogy. It shows how important patience and consistency are. It's like building a masterpiece. It takes time and dedication.
You got it. And it's not about adding more to your to-do list. It's about being intentional with the time you have.
I feel like this whole conversation has been so empowering. It's
Yeah.
like I have more control over my life.
That's great to hear. And remember, it's okay if you're not perfect.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. There will be days when you slip up. That's totally normal. Just get back on track and keep going.
So as we wrap up, I want to ask our listeners a question. What's one small habit, just one tiny thing you can commit to starting today?
Anything that speaks to you. It could be meditating for a few minutes, writing in a journal, drinking more water. The important thing is choose something you can actually stick with.
And be kind to yourself throughout the process. Celebrate your wins, learn from your mistakes, and trust that those small actions can make a big difference over time.
You've got this.
And that's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep those small habits going.